It looks like we're going to get the Ezra Klein abundance agenda passed in the Trump administration. It's winding its way through Congress right now in this bipartisan housing package, and it's just passed the Senate Banking Committee. And the two people who are putting their names on this thing are Tim Scott and Elizabeth Warren up here. The main change that this bill is going to make is around zoning. The whole Ezra Klein abundance agenda thing is that zoning and self-regulation by the government is preventing enough housing from being built. And a lot of far leftists, a lot of leftist talk shows have attacked the abundance agenda, saying that might be true, but it's such a small piece of the puzzle that it's not really worth focusing in on. And I would agree with that. I think most of the abundance agenda is correct. It's just not enough. But I won't discuss that here, because most of what the bill proposed, like it's supported by Elizabeth Warren, most of the leftists. I've yet to see any big dissent come out, and I'm sure there is. I've just missed it. This is basically going to affect zoning laws, right? So it says the legislation directs HUD to grant and loan program for qualifying homeowners and small landlords to address home repairs and health hazards. So this is going to help poor property owners get their land up to code. That's one part of it. And then develop a best practice for zoning and land use policies. That's obviously great. I don't know why that doesn't exist already. I assume it does in some aspect, but it's not good enough. That's the Ezra Klein critique. And this is the most important part, I think. Create a pilot program to incentivize housing development of all kinds in the community development block grant participating jurisdictions, among other actions. So this would essentially award certain jurisdictions for reforming their zoning laws in a way that provably that they can prove impacted their ability to build more housing. So if they pass these zoning reforms and they build more housing, then this fund is going to essentially reimburse them or incentivize them for that innovation in their policy, and that's obviously a very good thing. This is one of the bipartisan things I think no one can complain about, really. I think there will be complaints because it won't go far enough, obviously. And you can see people like Zohran Mamdani from the left just complaining about this stuff, complaining about the whole idea that zoning reform is going to make housing better. He would say, well, you're just empowering the private sector to build more luxury homes. That's kind of a straw man. But if the zoning laws are good, then that won't happen, right? Zohran Mamdani just has something against private building in all aspects, whereas I think that private and public building should coexist, but public building should be significantly more than it is right now. And there's a possibility, like in Ezra Klein's book that he talks about, that all of these publicly built housings won't be as environmentally perfect as we might want them to be. We can't be having these costs like we see in California be like double per square foot. That's just not feasible for state and local budgets. So that's kind of the deal with this bill. It might be the first decent bill the Trump administration passed. Like they had the CR that was horrible in March. It wasn't horrible. I mean, it kind of set the stage for the next bill, the reconciliation bill, the big beautiful bill. Obviously, a horrific piece of legislation that does nothing good for society. Kicks off millions of illegally present immigrants off of their health care. Right now, who's going to pay for that? It's going to be put in an insurance premium. So it's an incompetent bill in all aspects. So this is a good change. Members on both sides of the aisle acknowledged issues with HUD, said it was important to get something done to improve what many view as a growing housing crisis. The bill received support from a broad range of groups representing the real estate industry, home builders, mortgage bankers, etc. Of course. So the issue with a lot of these zoning laws, I don't understand local politics that well. I think a lot of these zoning laws are meant to, I think a lot of them are meant to keep housing prices high, because you have the inherent kind of housing crisis two sides, right? You have the homeowners who want their homes to appreciate so that they can take out loan against the equity or sell it at some point. and then they're going to be in charge of the local politics or lobby for the local politics to have these zoning laws that keep those prices high. And that's one of the main issues with housing. And it ought to be removed, right? Obviously, it's bad. And our goal as a society should not be to have people retire on the worth of their housing, right? Housing should be a commodity, but it should not really be an investment class like residential housing. Those prices should not be going up as much as they have been, and that's a fault of government for not building enough, for not taking enough government action to build. Right? We shouldn't just be incentivizing private actors to build. We should in some aspect, but the government should also, build affordable housing itself and sell it on the private markets. Build housing that really does serve the public purpose and is not simply more profitable, right? When private sector builds housing, when it builds for higher income markets, it's going to make a more profit. They'll sell it for more. Investors will get a higher return from it. Or they're going to get a more consistent return from it. And it's going to be valued higher based on how those houses are valued, especially commercial places. This is a bipartisan bill that contains legislation I've been working on for quite a few years, and it's great to see that. And at the same time, you have the administration basically decimating HED. This is one of the problems, right? Elon Musk and Doge essentially laying off all these probationary workers for no reason, right? This is the whole thing about Doge being one of the most incompetent things that any private citizen has ever induced upon the government, right? Or done in general. Like Doge, if you combine the IRS cuts, which are going to cost like $500 billion this year, right? Because they laid off a third of the IRS's workers, right? You might combine that with the amount of people who are going to be rehired after we pay them severance, and people who are paid severance who aren't rehired and lost productivity. You have Doge costing $500 billion plus another $200 billion, I think it is. And then if they save maybe $200 billion, right, they're still costing hundreds of billions of dollars to the taxpayer. And not that I care, not that I'm a fiscal conservative. It's just wholly incompetent. And you see in bills like this where it does come up that we need a functional bureaucracy, and we can't just be having these private citizens like Elon Musk come in and just say willy-nilly that all these probationary workers are now done for, and breaking all these reduction in force laws, etc. So that's basically the deal with this bill. That's all I have to say about it. I hope it passes. We won't, obviously, stuff like this, people are not going to have any really good impacts on their lives, right? If anything, probably the louder impact will be mad homeowners, getting mad that their local policies are changing and their homes might be appreciating slightly less fast, but it's not going to do anything to solve the housing crisis. Housing crisis is mostly a supply thing. You can't fix it with rent control or whatever, government subsidized housing. Those things don't tend to work because these markets are so tight. There's so many transactions that happen. You have to be so worried about excesses on both sides because it's just such a voluminous market. You can't really cheat it. You have to do it the legit way by building more supply. There's no other way to really go about this. Otherwise, housing should just go to the highest bidder. But we should try to make as much affordable housing as we can, and reduce this luxury housing, high income housing building that doesn't really serve the public purpose. But that's all I have to say about this.